Have you ever imagined that one day, the Earth would suddenly leave its orbit and drift like a giant spaceship? No more sun heating, no more stable gravity. Will the ocean evaporate or freeze? What will cities be like when there is no gravity? Can humanity control the course of the Earth, or will this be the end of the world? Let's explore now. Part 1. Causes. Why did the Earth leave orbit? What could cause a giant planet like Earth to leave its orbit? There are 3 possible scenarios. Scenario 1. Giant meteorite impact. If a meteorite with a diameter of about 17,370 kilometers, 5 times the size of the Moon and larger than Earth, were to hit our planet at hundreds of thousands of kilometers per hour, the impact energy would far exceed any disaster ever recorded. The explosion released energy equivalent to billions of Tsar Bomba nuclear bombs, 50 megatons each, creating a dynamic punch enough to permanently change the Earth's orbit around the Sun. Scenario 2. A wandering planet passes through the solar system. Do you believe that a space wanderer, 10 times heavier than Earth, could turn our planet into... The marble was thrown off the galactic chessboard? With its massive mass, planet Eos creates a gravitational vortex of 3 AU, 1 AU is Earth-Sun distance. As it approaches 2 million kilometers from Earth, nearly 5 times the distance from the Moon, its tidal force begins to tear apart our 4.5 billion-year-old stable orbit. Like a steel ball sucking away a grain of sand, the Earth is pulled towards Planet X. The orbit is gradually distorted, forming a death curve towards the indefinite void. When Earth crosses zero return, everything collapses in just 72 hours. The Moon was snatched out of orbit, becoming a rebel that crashed into Mars. The Earth's magnetic field is extremely chaotic, paving the way for a solar storm to burn down all electronic devices. The gravitational pull of Planet X drains the atmosphere, leaving the sky black, oxygen as thin as on Mount Everest. But around the globe, there is no more sun. The temperature is 245 degrees, colder than Pluto. The only life that exists is extremophile bacteria in the ground, living on cosmic radioactivity. Over the course of millions of years, the Earth can 1. Hit Jupiter, torn apart by the massive tidal force. 2. Fall into a black hole at the center of the Milky Way, where time stops. 3. Become the moon of a planet outside the solar system, slave to the new orbit. Scenario 3. The Sun gradually loses its gravitational force. Suppose there is a supernova explosion, 100 billion times more powerful than the Sun, that releases deadly gamma particle waves and chaotic magnetic fields. The shock waves struck the Sun, causing it to lose 30% of its mass in just a century. Gravity weakens. The Earth begins sliding into the void. Like a broken guitar string, the Earth's orbit expands erratically. From 150 million kilometers, we drift to 300 million kilometers, where the Sun's light is only a faint speck of light. The temperature of 200 degrees turns the air into a frozen liquid. Storms of liquid nitro swept through the city, freezing all living things in a panicked posture. The ocean becomes a 10-kilometer thick water jelly, and below it are petrified sea creatures like sculptures. Without the Sun to guide the way, the Earth becomes a blind man in the middle of the galaxy. In 1 million years, it can 1. Hit the asteroid belt, pierced by fragments of cosmic rock. 2. Sucked into a white dwarf, where gravity crushes everything into plasma. 3. Become the moon of neutron stars, where a spoonful of matter weighs as much as Mount Everest. Part 2. Initial consequences. What will happen immediately? Sharp temperature drops, from frost to welding poles. In the first 24 hours, the Earth loses heat from the Sun, but the residual heat in the atmosphere, oceans, and surface is only short-lived. The heat reduction mechanism is rapid. Every day, the average temperature drops by 5 degrees Celsius due to uncompensated thermal radiation into space. After 7 days, the temperature in Europe, about 30 degrees Celsius, will be equivalent to the current Antarctic. Immediate consequences: plants die en masse due to freezing. Warm-blooded animals such as birds and animals that do not adapt will become extinct in just a few weeks. Humans struggle with overloaded heating, burning fuel running out. Domino effect. Snow and ice cover the surface, reflecting light, even though the sun is off, but not enough to slow down the cooling process. Frozen ocean, the last underworld. When the air drops to 50 degrees, the ocean surface freezes for just a few hours, creating ice 2-3 meters thick. However, at depths of less than 1,000 meters, the water remains liquid thanks to heat from the Earth's core, or 5,000 degrees Celsius. Persistent life. Cold-loving organisms such as extremophile bacteria, which live around hydrothermal mouths, continue to exist for centuries. Whales and great sharks can die from lack of oxygen, but giant squid or jellyfish thrive thanks to microbial food sources. Mobile ice. Ocean currents stop working, causing icebergs to become quiet, creating vast ice deserts. Blackout city, the fall of civilization. Solar energy. Panels become permanent scrap piles. Nuclear plant, maximum operation of 6-12 months before uranium fuel is exhausted. The reactor automatically shuts down if the temperature drops below 100 degrees Celsius, causing the cooling system to freeze. The last hope. Geothermal energy in Iceland, New Zealand, or areas near volcanoes becomes the last oasis. Here, people live in underground tunnels, using heat from the ground to heat and grow vegetables in greenhouses. Turbulent weather. Destructive storms. The terrible temperature difference between the polar regions, 100 degrees, and the equator, 70 degrees, creates extreme pressure gradients, giving rise to superstorms with wind force of 500 km/h, twice as strong as Typhoon Patricia, level 5, enough to tear apart skyscrapers, knocking tanks into the air. Continental-scale tornado, formed from a low-pressure area thousands of kilometers wide, swept away with knife-sharp ice dust, turning the entire city into ruins in an instant. More dense air. At 100 degrees Celsius, the air becomes denser, making breathing difficult even for healthy people. Long-term consequences. The Earth becomes an eternal snowball. After 1 year, the global temperature reached 150 degrees, equivalent to the surface of Mars. The atmosphere stagnated. Liquid oxygen fell like rain, leaving nitrogen solidified. The only life that remains is bacteria hidden deep in the ground. Part 3. Long-term changes. What will people's lives be like? Underground migration, an underground civilization. Geothermal cave cities. Humans build settlements 3 to 5 kilometers deep underground, where temperatures are maintained at 25 to 30 degrees Celsius, thanks to energy from the Earth's core. Hydroponic systems use bioluminescent LEDs from genetically modified microalgae to provide oxygen and food. Bases on the ocean floor, using graphene materials subjected to pressures of 1,000 atm. Spherical complexes anchored near hydrothermal spouts to extract minerals and energy. However, underground earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are always a permanent threat. Volcanic regions, Iceland, Hawaii, and Yellowstone, became the new capitals of humanity. The population is concentrated around the lava lakes controlled by AI robots, but toxic gases, SO2, CO2, leaks can wipe out the entire city overnight. Controlling the Earth. Like a spaceship, impossible dreams, massive propulsion system. Millions of fusion reactors are installed along the equator, creating propulsion by firing plasma into space at 10% of the speed of light. To change the Earth's orbit by just 1/4, it would take 5 trillion tons of deuterium fuel, the equivalent of the volume of water in 100,000 oceans. Solar energy from space. Satellites collect energy from other stars, transmitting it to Earth via a microwave beam. But if the sun had gone out, it would be nearly impossible to find a replacement star within a 100 light-year radius. Meet the alien civilization. Savior or nightmare? Intergalactic SOS signals. Humans send messages using neutrino rays and gravitational waves, which are expected to be detected by Type 2 civilizations on the Kardashev scale, controlling stellar energy. Invasion scenario. If aliens treat Earth as a frozen biobattery, they could exploit human DNA to breed cold-resistant organisms or suck up the remaining geothermal energy. Part 4. Future prospects. Fragile exits. Scenario 1. Earth is sucked into a new star. Fascinating capture. When the Earth wanders near a red dwarf, 10,000 billion years old, the tidal force tears apart the tectonic plates, causing a magnitude 12 super-earthquake. The new atmosphere formed from helium and hydrogen gases, forcing humans to wear pressure masks permanently. Second sun. If you're lucky, Earth is in the zone of life of new stars, melting ice and creating oceans for 1,000 years. But the risk of colliding with a wandering planet or asteroid increases 1,000 times. Ending. Earth, time capsule of the universe. No matter which scenario we choose, humanity faces a paradox. The more we cling to life, the more we lose our humanity. Will we become robots dependent on machines, or degenerate into anaerobic creatures living on geothermal heat? Perhaps the scariest scenario is not the death of the planet, but the collapse of the imagination that once took humanity to the stars. The prospect of Earth drifting in space may be just a hypothesis, but it shows us how small humans are in the vastness of the universe. What do you think would happen if Earth actually turned into a spaceship? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on other interesting videos.